Hey everyone, Colin once again. Welcome back to the next movie review, and surprisingly, it was a film that I was skeptical on though because it's like another sequel. It's been like decades later, right? But there are certain exceptions to that, which I'll get to though. I was surprised that I really did enjoy it because I've been a fan of the franchise, well, except for the third one though, and that is of Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. Of course, F stands for Foley, of course. Axel Foley. So yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel F. But I'll call Beverly Hills Cop 4 for short. It just really recently came out on exclusively on Netflix, and I really enjoyed it. You know, I was surprised by it because you know it's a Beverly because they were trying to make a fourth one for years, and I felt like, you know, Eddie Murphy's getting up there in age, you know, maybe it will not work, you know, so is Judge Reinhold, and if possible I thought they were not going to put John Ashton in it because he's old too, so, but you know what, I really enjoyed it, you know what, and really enough, I put this probably so far this will be in my top 3 favorite films of 2024, surprisingly enough, you know. That's how far I put it, you know, because, you know, this year has been okay. I mean, well, except for the horror films this year has just sucked, you know, overall. But there's been films I really like, though, you know. This film, I love the Spy Family movie. I enjoy The Beekeeper with Jason Statham, Spaceman, Lisa Frankenstein. Well, like I said, it's more comedy, the horror elements though, but I would say it's more of a comedy. But some other ones though, but Beverly Hills Cop 4, I really enjoyed it. So I give this film an applause, or a pat on the back, you know, because Eddie Murphy, he did a great job. Now, obviously, yes, this is miles better than the third Beverly Hills Cop film. That sucked. And even the villains, I would say, was much better than the third film. Which I'll get to, though. But there's going to be some spoilers, but I won't go into details on everything, because if you're a fan of Eddie Murphy or the Beverly Hills Cop movies, so there's going to be some spoilers, though, but I won't get into much details and stuff, so there'll be a little bit of spoilers, but not much, because I want people to check out and check the film out if you haven't. So, but there's be some, but not all of it though. So for certain spoilers, just stop right now, right? But like I said, I thought the director did a good job, and I thought the music, I thought it was exactly on par with the film itself, because parts of the music, it did callbacks from the first movie and the second movie, which I was surprised I got to hear, especially what was it, Shakedown that was played at the start of Beverly Hills Cop 2. I got to hear that in one of the action sequences, which was nice to hear. I think it was in the snow when Axel was driving the snow plow. Which the action sequences, which they're not amazing, but I thought a lot of the chase sequences were pretty good. Mostly done practical, not a whole lot of CG. Like the snowplow, the helicopter, and then the action at the end. So overall, the action was pretty good, you know. So yeah, a lot of it mostly was done practical. Some of the good explosions too. And the villain. Spoiler, I said the villain, Kevin Bacon. Now, I gotta say, I would say Kevin Bacon, I probably have to say he was pretty much the best villain I've seen in this series. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Jurgen Prochnow was a good villain in Beverly Hills Cop 2, and Steve Burkoff was a good villain as Victor Malin in the first movie, and like I said, Maxwell Dent in the second film. Of course, Kevin Bacon is easily better than any of the villains in the third film. But I think Kevin Bacon, I would say his villain in this film, of course, he's a crooked cop, of course. He's a crooked cop. I thought he was a pretty overall pretty much the best villain, I would say, of the series. Yeah, because I thought he had like more of a certain, I would say, a meaner presence than the previous two. Maybe a meaner presence, I think. Probably say more devious, I would say, than the previous two. But I think Kevin Bacon did a good job, yes. Because I've always loved Kevin Bacon growing up, of course, from Tremors, and of course he can play a good villain, like from Hollow Man, of course, Footloose, among many movies, But Kevin Bacon, he did a really good job as the villain. Joesph Gordon-Levitt, he also plays a cop. He's like the sort of the ex-boyfriend of Eddie Murphy's daughter's character in the movie. Because in the movie, Eddie Murphy has a daughter in this, and Joesph Gordon-Levitt has, like Carlos, kind of like her ex-boyfriend. But it was always nice to see Joesph Gordon-Levitt because he did a good job in this film too. Because I really enjoyed him in this film called Premium Rush. I think it's pretty much of an underrated movie. That's to him, and Michael Shannon's the villain. Joesph Gordon-Levitt, he was good in Inception, and among other films too as well. Looper, that's a good one with Bruce Willis, where Bruce Willis is his older version of him. But Joesph Gordon-Levitt was pretty good too, and of course it was nice to see Judge Reinhold as Rosewood, and John Ashton as Taggart. It was always great to see. It was great to see them. They come back, Even what's his name, who played who was that fashion designer from the first movie, and he came back in the third film, but I thought it was out of place for him to be in the third film. Get the character's name, sure. Yeah, Bronson Pinchot as Surge. Yeah, he was like art gallery salesman. Yeah, he was in the first film, and then he was also in the third film with selling these weird guns. It felt he was out of place in that though, but he comes back in this. Paul Reiser as Friedman, as his Axel's Detroit partner. Now he's the new Detroit chief police. And I think Paul Reiser had much more to do than he did in the previous two films, the first two ones. To be fair, I think he did more in this movie than he did in the first two movies. But he was good too, so it was nice to see him there again. Like I said, Eddie Murphy once again. I think it was compared to, unlike the third film where he was being more serious and not funny. That was a mistake. Here, at least, Eddie Murphy kind of recaptured the old himself as Axel Foley from the first two movies. Because I saw that in the quotes he says, and the quirks, and when he's using his wittiness, unlike in the third movie. So it was great to see that that Eddie Murphy back again as Axel Foley, the old Axel Foley. And like I said, there was callbacks or like I said, nostalgia. Now I'm always a pain in the ass to say about nostalgia though. But when you do it the right way, unless when it's not always being shoved in your face, this is how you do it the right way. Like I said, the callbacks of the old music. Of course, you have to have the main theme. Of course, dun 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 dun. Of course, you have to have that. Of course, wouldn't be at Beverly Hills Cop without it. But like I said, the music. Certain parts of the music were scores from the first movie and the second film, which I heard, which that was cool to hear. And of course, there were nods to the other films as well, like when of course, to sum it up, of course, Eddie Murphy has a daughter, which is quite weird. To mention about his wife or the girl's mother. I thought it was quite weird though. But his daughter, she's a lawyer in Beverly Hills, and the bad guys now they wanted to scare her, so she's in this parking garage and they rig her car to flip over the edge, right? Instead of just going like shooting her or doing something else, they flip her car, almost make it off the edge, Okay, that's one way to scare a girl. And so that ultimately leads that That because there's another thing that this other film concentrates between father and daughter. The father-daughter issues we've seen done a lot of times in films, right? Now, nitpick, I would say it's that one of the things is the relationship between Axel Foley and his daughter. I'm kind of like in the middle of this whole thing, though. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but I'm kind of like 50-50 on the whole father-daughter relationship, though. But ultimately, Axel gets wind of this. He goes to Beverly Hills. Oh, one other thing, there's some good nods too, because in Detroit, right, in his police department, they have a picture of Gil Hill, the guy who played Inspector Todd from the first 3 movies, and he died in the 3rd film, though, sad to say. But also that in real life, he's now passed away. He passed away a few years ago or so. So that was a nice nod. That was a nice nod to him. Gil Hill as Inspector Todd. Inspector T, how you doing? Where the fuck you been, Foley? All I smell is your bullshit. In the 2nd film. Don't think, Axel, it makes my dick itch. He was good in that, though. But sadly, he died in the 3rd film. But he passed away in real life, though. Rest in peace to Gil Hill. So it was nice they had a picture of him, and there was even a picture of Ronnie Cox as well. As Bogman, because he's not in this though. So they pay homage to as Ronnie Cox as Bogomil. So that was nice to see as well. Now Taggart, John Ashton, he's now the chief of police now, and so that was nice. And now I will say another flaw in this movie. Now John Ashton, he's in the film more than, sadly, the Judge Reinhold. Now, Judge Reinhold, he appears in the beginning, and then he skips out on the good chunk of the movie, in the middle of the movie, right? And then he appears at the fight at the end. I mean, so we don't fully see the 3 of them together for most of the time. Now, I can understand that part, because in the first movie, right, it's mostly Axel Foley, right? Less on the 3 of them together. But in the 2nd film, it was the 3 of them together. So I guess they try to do more like the first movie, where it was it's just Axel Foley comes to Beverly Hills by himself, and it's more on him, less than the other 2, right? So I get that, though, right? But I say it would have been nice to have Judge Reinhold have all 3 of them together more. But it was weird to have Judge Reinhold be the beginning and then basically towards the end. I think that was kind of a mistake. But John Ashton, though, it was good to see him. He was in it more than he was, though, and he gets in more of the stuff, some more stuff than. Yeah, he's in his office more, though, but at least he gets on the fight in too. Like I said, Kevin Bacon, I think he did a good job as the bad guy. He's a crooked cop, and well, he gets his comeuppance at the end of the movie, which I won't get into, though. Like I said, some spoilers, but mostly not, because I want people to check out this film, And some of the witty dialogue, of course, that's what Eddie Murphy would like from Axel Foley, right? Some of the witty lines of dialogue he says, which that was great to hear, though, that tenacity of that Axel Foley again, unlike in the 3rd movie. Because even when he first arrives in Beverly Hills, he gets arrested, and the female cop that arrests him as soon as he gets to Beverly Hills, because Judge Reinhold was supposed to pick him up, right? But he didn't. But the female cop that arrests Eddie Murphy is actually Eddie Murphy's real life daughter. Yeah, so it's okay. So his real life daughter has an appearance in this. She arrests him when he as soon as he gets to Beverly Hills. I'm like, okay, it's funny. Yeah, okay. So his daughter arresting her father, right? So that was kind of a funny thing. And like I said, the action when it comes to driving the big snowplow, right? And or when he's flying he's flying on the helicopter with Joesph Gordon-Levitt, because Joesph Gordon-Levitt is flying it. Or another callback to the first 3 movies, including the 3rd film, when Joesph Gordon-Levitt is talking to Eddie Murphy, and it's recall because he's going over his files, what he has been when the last 3 times he was in Beverly Hills, like the first film, 84, then 87, the 2nd film, and then 94. He's like, 94, that was not a good year for you, was it? They went like that though, but it's like, but the other way that was a good call because yeah, it was not a good year because Beverly Hills Cup 3 sucked. So I did like that. It's like, oh, that was that 94. That was not a good year for it, was it? So I like that though. So hey, if it was making fun of the third film, okay, I think that was pretty a funny thing to do, way to do it. And we also go level with him with a beard. That's like okay, seeing him with his beard, you know. But a lot was like him when he was flying the helicopter with Eddie Murphy. And he's trying to fly it right, and it looked like a lot of it was done practical for real. Okay, a lot of it, certain things were CG backgrounds, you know, but overall, the helicopter itself, the stonework and the explosions looked like it was done practical, which I enjoyed. As I said, lots of great dialogue from Eddie Murphy. And ultimately, by the way, when it comes to the action of the action of the third act, right? It was good to see when the three of them together, John Ashton, Judge Reinhold, and Eddie Murphy together. But I say it's weird that Judge Reinhold just came in, was not in it for a good chunk of the middle of the movie, right? Until they came up to the end, right? For the finale. But it was nice to see that the three of them together. That was not a nice thing to see overall. Although it was kind of funny though in the trailer, it was them sitting in the car, talking, and then but the end of the movie was different because like Rosewood had bruises on him and now they're not. I don't know what happened with that and then at the end of the trailer there, or then at the end of the first film, ending of this movie. So I don't know what was that there though, but overall, yeah. Like I said, I didn't get too much into it because I feel like if anyone was a fan of Eddie Murphy or the series, I recommend you check it out. It's on Netflix, so at least now that they put it in the theater, which I wish they would have though. But to part of me wish they would have put it in theaters though. But overall, yeah, I really enjoyed Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel F. Eddie Murphy, he did a wonderful job. It's the best performance I've seen him done in God knows how long. Easily the best performance I've seen him he's done for a long time. He captured the old Axel Foley of himself as Axel Foley he did for the first two movies. It was good that he wore the Detroit Lions jacket again, like in the second film too. Callbacks from even the third film, like I said, but that was funny because they make fun of it though, but especially the callbacks from the first two movies, I really enjoyed. Like especially the music, it was great to hear pieces of both music from the both first two movies they put in this. I really enjoyed that. Was a nice homage to the first two movies. Action was pretty good overall. Villain, I would say Kevin Bacon. I would probably say he was probably the best villain I've seen. The best villain of the series. Oh, and speaking of the first movie of Steve Burkoff, who was the villain in the first movie as Victor Maitland, he has a cameo appearance in this movie as well. I'm like, oh wait a minute, that's Steve Burkoff. Holy shit, you know. Because that's probably another callback to the first one because he was the bad guy as Victor Maitland. And speaking of another reference, another cameo, especially cameos, when they land in the golf course after the helicopter scene, they land in the golf course. Christopher McDonald is there. Now, obviously he's probably not Shooter McGavin, but I think it was a clear reference to him because he's playing on the golf course. Of course, the nod to Happy Gilmore, which I heard, yes, they are going to do a second Happy Gilmore movie though. Yes, I heard that though. So they must have put him in there because as a reference because the first movie as Shooter McGavin, and of course they're doing a second film, Happy Gilmore 2. So they had to put him in there. They put him in there as a reference because hey, Chris McDonald's playing on a golf course. Who is he supposed to? Who's he referencing? Right? Yeah, referencing Shooter McGavin. Now he's not. I don't know that he's not playing Shooter McGavin, but I'm sure it's a clear reference to that. If so, that was pretty cool too. Because hey, it's Chris McDonald. You know, it's Shooter McGavin, Happy Gilmore. Now, of course, everyone's gonna ask, am I curious about Happy Gilmore 2? Well, like I said, I like Adam Sandler's recent dramatic roles he's been doing, but as far as his recent comedies he's done, not so much. You know, his recent comedy films have not been that good. But as far as his dramatic roles, I've been looking forward to seeing, because I really enjoyed Uncut Gems, and I really enjoyed Spaceman, you know? We'll see on that, though. We'll see, though, okay? But that was cool to see it was cool to see Christopher McDonald, you know? So, that was a nice, cool cameo appearance as well. So, yeah, and I thought it was well-paced, you know? What was the running time for this? 118 minutes minus end credits, though. So under 2 hours minus end credits. Over the cast was pretty good job. The girl who played his daughter, she was kind of like meh for me, you know. And the whole situation between father and daughter, it was one of the weak points of the movie. It was, but it was not. It didn't make me mad or overall. It was like meh. It was like that's what it is, meh, basically. And the other flaw of the movie was that I wish that Judge Reinhold was underused. Sad to say, he was in the beginning. Yeah, good to see he appeared in the third act for the finale, the action finale, and as well as sharing the same scene with John Ashton and Eddie Murphy together. So that was nice to see, though. But I wish he was use it. I mean, John Ashton, he got as Taggart. He was used more than Judge Reinhold is throughout the movie. Sad to say, though. But that was the other second nitpick I have with the movie. But it doesn't matter. Like Judge Reinhold, he still did a good job for what he was as Billy Rosewood. And like I said, John Ashton as Taggart, he was good too. Nice to see him there again. Nice that he was the chief of police this time, you know. Was it Paul Reiser? This time he's the chief of police at Eddie Murphy's Detroit precinct. It was cool to see him there. To him come back. What was it? Bronson Pinchot as Surge. It was cool to see the cameo appearances from Chris McDonald and Steve Burkoff as well. Good to see Kevin Bacon. I think he played the best villain of this series. He also did a good job. Same with Joesph Gordon-Levitt. But Eddie Murphy was the star as Axel Foley. He did a great job. And it looks like they kept the R rating as well. I forgot to mention that it kept the R rating, not PG-13. So Eddie Murphy cursing, it just felt more. It flowed. He flowed more when it was cursing as Axel Foley. So that was great to hear. Like I said, the weightiness of the jokes he did, it was really on point, like to how it was in the first two movies. But I really enjoyed it. I was surprised I enjoyed this film. Yeah, because like I said, I was skeptical at first, but you know what? Sometimes there are exceptions. You know, a sequel come out decades later, it can work. Most times they don't, but sometimes they work once in a while. Like the third Bad Boys film. The third Bad Boys movie, Bad Boys for Life, that came out in 2020, right? I was skeptical because it was 20 years after the second film, but you know what? I really enjoyed the third Bad Boys movie. Now, I have not seen the fourth one, so I'll wait on that, though, but I'm saying, like, Bad Boys for Life came out, like, years later after the second film, and I really enjoyed it. And also, funny enough, this is a fourth Beverly Hills Cop film, and I really enjoyed it. It was like a trending thing where fours I like, you know, there's the fourth Die Hard film, there was a fourth Rambo. Of course, there was Rocky IV, Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. This movie. What else? That's also number 4 that I like. Star Trek. If you want to call Star Wars Episode 4. Well, technically, the fourth Star Wars that came out was the first one, The Phantom Menace, Part 1. So if you want to go do like that in that order, technically the fourth Star Wars film that came out was The Phantom Menace. I did like that movie, so... If you want to count that, though, Because technically, in chronological order as the years went, the Phantom Menace technically was the fourth one to come out. Technically. So, if so, I do like the Phantom Menace. Yes. Even though it's called Part 1, though, but I'm saying, in year order. If we're going to put up Part 4, that's A New Hope. Either way, I like both movies anyway, so. But, yeah, as for sequels, as for number 4s, you know, I really liked, you know. It's quite funny enough. I don't know, it's funny how that is, you know. But yeah, overall I enjoyed Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel F. It was a great surprise, and it's easily my top 3 favorite films this year. So yeah, I give it a thumbs up, you know. And it was great to see the old Eddie Murphy again. His best performance he's done in how many years, you know. I was waiting for like Jim Carrey when he captured like his old self as Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic movies, right? Kind of like this, you know, to seeing the old Eddie Murphy as this funny, witty actor flow we've seen from the first 2 movies. It's been like Jim Carrey's playing Dr. Robotnik's been the best role he's done in for a lot of years. Same thing now with Eddie Murphy. Oh, I forgot to mention another actor that's in it. It was nice to see as well. Yeah, I forgot to mention there was another actor. It was also good to see. It was cool to see Louise Goodsman. How can I forget him? You know, it was always fun to see him. You know, like when he was in The Last Stand, even Journey to the Mysterious Island. He was like one of the best parts of that movie. Back when he was in Crocodile Dundee 2, The Count of Monte Cristo, among other films as well. So it was cool to see Louise Goodsman as well. So if I want to give any credit to the cast, gotta give a shout out to Louise Goodsman as well. So it was cool to see him too. But yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 4 I enjoyed. Easily one of my favorite films this year, which that was a big surprise to me. You know, I was skeptical at first. You know, sequel that came out years later, but it was a fun film. You know, as it just like homage. It was a film that was like it didn't disrespect the first 2 movies. That's what I'm trying to say. It didn't, and they didn't kill off no of the original cast members, which that was another positive I could say about it. But yeah, thumbs up for this movie, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go check it out. And it's on Netflix. So Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel F. It was a fun surprise. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time. And for more later.